Today, we're diving into something pretty incredible. It's the biological hardware that acts like your own personal gyroscope, that secret system that keeps you balanced without you even having to think about it. We're talking about the vestibular system.
You know, we all learn about the 5 classic senses, right? Sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. But what about that hidden sense? The one working tirelessly every single second of the day to keep you from falling flat on your face. So what is this invisible force?
Well, we're talking about your sense of balance, your equilibrium. And it feels totally automatic, doesn't it? But behind the scenes, it's this incredibly sophisticated system, a biological marvel that's constantly at work, completely invisible to our conscious mind.
And what's so fascinating is that balance isn't just one thing. Your brain is kind of like a mission control center, constantly processing a 3-way data stream. It gets signals from the star of our show, the vestibular system in your inner ear, which tells it all about head motion. It uses your eyes, of course, to see where you are in space. And it gets info from something called proprioception. That's just the feedback from your muscles and joints. It's this nonstop fusion of data that keeps you stable.
So where is this amazing system hiding? Let's zoom way, way deep inside the inner ear. Tucked away right next to the cochlea, that's the part that handles hearing, we find these structures that act as our body's very own compass and accelerometer.
Okay, first up, we've got the semicircular canals. I want you to picture 3 tiny fluid-filled loops, each one positioned at a right angle to the others, kind of like the X, Y, and Z axes on a graph. It's an absolutely brilliant design. It means that no matter which way you turn or tilt your head, nodding yes, shaking no, whatever, the fluid in at least one of these canals is going to swish around, sending a super precise signal to your brain about that movement.
And right next to those canals are the otolith organs, specifically the utricle and the saccule. Now, if the canals are all about rotation, these guys handle linear motion, that's moving in a straight line. The utricle is sensitive to horizontal movement, like when you accelerate in a car, and the saccule detects vertical movement, like going up or down in an elevator. They're basically your body's built-in accelerometers.
So let's put it all together. The system really has 2 key parts working in perfect harmony. You've got the semicircular canals for all that rotational motion, like shaking your head. And then you've got the otolith organs for linear motion and gravity, like riding in a car. Together, these 2 give your brain this complete 3D picture of exactly how your head is moving through space at any given moment.
All right, so we've seen the big picture structures. But now let's zoom in even further, all the way down to the cellular level. How does a simple physical movement get translated into a neural signal the brain can actually understand? Well, it all comes down to this beautiful microscopic dance.
And this is where it gets just wild. Inside those otolith organs, you have these tiny microscopic crystals made of calcium carbonate. You can literally think of them as ear stones. These little crystals called otoconia sit in this gelatinous layer. So when you tilt your head or accelerate, gravity pulls on these heavier crystals, and that makes the gel shift. And crucially, it bends the tiny sensor cells underneath. And those sensor cells, they are the real heroes of this whole story. They're called hair cells. Now, not like the hair on your head, but because they have these tiny hair-like bundles on top called stereocilia. These are unbelievably sensitive mechanical switches. When the stereocilia bend one way, they switch on and fire off a signal. When they bend the other way, they switch off. It's that simple.
So let's just walk through this elegant little chain reaction. It all starts with your head moving. That causes the fluid in those crystals to shift around, which then bends those tiny hairs, the stereocilia. That bending motion physically yanks open these little gates, or ion channels, on the cell. Positively charged potassium ions rush in, creating an electrical charge. And boom! That charge triggers a nerve signal that fires off to the brain. And this whole thing happens in a flash.
Okay, so the brain is getting all this constant, high-speed data about how your head is moving. But what does it do with it? Well, it immediately orchestrates this perfectly coordinated response between your eyes and the rest of your body to keep you stable and your vision crystal clear.
The first, and honestly maybe the most incredible response, is called the vestibulo-ocular reflex, or VOR for short. This is an automatic, hardwired reflex that is just astonishingly fast. It's actually one of the fastest in the human body. So your vestibular system tells your brain your head is moving to the left, and your brain instantly tells your eye muscles to move your eyes to the right by the exact same amount.
And this quote right here just says it all. The VOR is basically your body's built-in image stabilization. It's the only reason the world doesn't look like a shaky home video every time you walk or run. I mean, without the VOR, you wouldn't even be able to read a sign while walking. It's what lets your gaze stay perfectly fixed and clear, no matter how much your head is moving around.
The second key response is the vestibulospinal reflex, or VS. Now, if the VOR connects your balance to your eyes, the VS connects your balance directly to your muscles. This one is all about maintaining your posture. So when your vestibular system detects that you're starting to lean or stumble, it sends signals down your spinal cord to instantly adjust muscle tone all through your body to keep you upright.
Just think about walking on a rocky path or maybe a patch of uneven grass. You don't consciously think, okay, now I need to shift my weight to the left to compensate. No way. Your vestibulospinal reflex just takes care of it automatically, making thousands of tiny little postural adjustments without you ever even knowing it's happening.
So far, we've been looking at a system that works almost perfectly, right? But what happens when this unbelievably intricate machinery goes wrong? Well, for millions of people, the result can be profoundly disorienting and honestly, even debilitated.
First things first, let's clear up two words that people often mix up. Dizziness is a really general feeling, like being woozy or lightheaded. But vertigo is extremely specific. It's that distinct, false sensation that you or the world around you is spinning. Real vertigo is almost always a sign that something's up in the vestibular system.
So what are the usual culprits? Well, this table lays out 3 common conditions. The most frequent is something called BPPV, where those little ear stones we talked about get knocked loose and drift into the semicircular canals, which then triggers false signals of spinning. Then there's Meniere's disease, which is caused by too much fluid pressure inside the inner ear. And labyrinthitis is an inflammation, usually from a virus, that messes with the vestibular nerve itself, scrambling the signals to the brain.
And sadly, this amazing system isn't immune to aging. After about age 65, there's a pretty dramatic loss of those crucial vestibular hair cells. I mean, in many people, more than half of them are just gone. This decline in the primary sensors is a huge reason why dizziness, poor balance, and dangerous falls become so much more common as we get older.
So, that sense of balance we take for granted every single moment, it's anything but simple. It's a constant, complex symphony of physics, biology, and neurology, all playing in perfect harmony. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other incredible, invisible systems are running in the background, shaping your reality right now?